Welcome to the best debate in the universe. Every debate in the universe, from white identity to infidelity. With over 2 million downloads, I'm your host, Maddox. Mikey's out this week, but we got Joey, the audio engineer.
What's up, what's up?
And with me, as always, is my first hand-on staff moderator, Rucka Ali.
Yeah!
Welcome back to the show, guys. Very exciting. We've had a really interesting, really exciting run of shows lately.
Yeah.
Mikey's out again, unfortunately. He had a stomach flu last week. Yeah. We hope Mikey feels better. Get well soon, Mikey. Coming up on today's show is the debate, Are Traps Gay? Then we've got a recap of last week's debate, voicemail, and then the debate from this week. And finally, we'll round it out with some quick news headlines. But first, please welcome to the show. She's a cultural critic with a huge YouTube channel with over 27 million downloads. Please welcome Blaire White. Blaire, welcome to the show.
Hi, everyone.
Yo.
What's up?
That's a lot of downloads for a YouTube channel, huh?
Right, I was going to say downloads.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. What are you, a fucking 90-year-old?
Did I say downloads?
Yeah.
What did
Grandpa,
sorry, views.
stop.
Sorry.
I have a fucking YouTube channel, shithead. I know how it fucking works.
A lot of downloads happening on that channel.
Yeah, well, they're downloads. You do download it to your cache, moron. Like, that's the thing. I'm the smart one here. Okay, I'm the foremost academic. Wait a second, Blaire.
Yeah.
Did you graduate?
I graduated high school.
Yeah. That means I'm the foremost. Joey. Oh, and I should also introduce. We have also with us Joey Sarson. Joey is from the Dudesons blog.
Boyfriend.
Ooh. Yep.
Boyfriend.
We're official. Yep, we're
Yes.
official.
Joey.
Oh,
So Joey and Blaire, boyfriend official. Is it? This isn't the first time you've announced it, right?
Actually, it
like
is.
yesterday,
Other
yeah.
than like Instagram.
It's the
Holy
first time you
shit.
discussed it? Oh, no.
This is a scoop
shit.
then.
It's a scoop.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exclusive.
Fantastic. Congratulations, guys. So Joey and Blaire White officially dating. Blaire, you're breaking so many hearts right now, I'm sure.
Aw,
Yeah. Yeah. And Joey, you're from the Dudesons vlog.
Yeah.
It's like a Finnish stunt show, right?
Right. It's like the main guy, Jukka, came from Finland, and now he's in America, and so we kind of just do stunts around him. He puts us through hell, and we record it. It's like pretty hilarious.
It's a
Check it
trip.
out. It's pretty great.
Awesome. Yeah. I guarantee you guys have seen some of these stunts.
Dudeson's a household name.
Yeah. So Blaire, one of your most popular videos is called "Triggered to Death" by Milo Yiannopoulos.
Yeah.
Now, why? What's the conceit of that video?
Well, it was back in the day when Milo was like, a little more relevant than now. Just kidding. I'm kidding. But
Throwing
he
some
used to,
shade.
Right. He used to do college talks, and all the crazy feminists would show up and smear blood all over themselves, period blood, etc.
Right.
It's just making fun of those people. That's like kind of the basis of my channel in general. We just make fun of people. It's great.
Right. So you're a cultural critic, and you said social Marxist. Is that how you identify yourself, or cultural Marxist?
No.
Where did I read that? I read that on your YouTube bio.
That's on the About.
The About page.
But I'm anti that.
Anti that.
Not
okay.
for that.
Oh, anti that. Anti-social.
Right.
Okay. So I should say that we just met at VidCon last week.
But yeah, VidCon was a trip. It was so much fun.
VidCon was a lot of fun, and we met. We basically all hung out with everybody that we associate with online. Chris Raygun, Lacey Green, Shoe on Head, Armored Skeptic. Some black guy was there.
All the guys you associate with, Maddox.
Well, I met them for the first time.
Yeah,
Except for Chris. Chris has been on the show, obviously.
Yeah.
Sargon of Akkad, who was on last week.
I was just making fun of you because you said all the guys we associate with online.
Yeah.
The circle.
The circle.
What, are you in the circle now?
I was in the fucking circle. I don't know. I was in the fucking picture,
You're in the
Rucka.
picture.
He was in the group chat.
Well, you know what, Rucka? I'm going to throw some shade your way.
Yeah.
There's this giant picture of everyone in this, of like everybody. I don't know. There's like 20 people in this picture, right? Where we're standing in front of the convention center.
Yeah.
Everyone has some expression on their face and looks fine. You look completely stoic.
Because I'm not in the circle.
You're not in the circle. Oh, that's why. Okay.
Mess. I wasn't in any of those good group shots because I was like doing my thing all weekend, and I just showed up for one day for VidCon, and it kind of sucks. I wanted to be in all like the the fan pictures.
Yeah,
but
I
whatever.
wasn't. I didn't get to chat that much. I just kind of half-assed VidCon this year. I came in last minute. I don't give a fuck. But I do want to talk about a big controversy that happened at VidCon. Now, there's this guy named Christian Burns.
Oh, the cunt.
Oh.
This guy's an Instagram model, supposedly, right?
I'm a big fan.
You're a big fan of Christian? So this kid went up to one of the security guards and berated him, abused him, because the security guard said, back off, you can't come into the building right now. And I guess that was the lead up to it, right?
It was bad. I wanted to fight. It was horrible.
Yeah, and this guy, Christian Burns, started yelling at the security guard, calling him all sorts of foul names, telling him to kill himself, calling him ugly, saying, I'm rich. Do you know how fucking popular I am?
I'm
Do you know
famous,
how
you're not. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm famous, you're ugly. And then people were like, who the fuck is this kid? No one's ever heard of him.
No one knew. And then they found him and he has like 20,000 like followers on Instagram. So tragic.
Yeah, he had like 17,000
Like you're nowhere,
followers.
like first of all, no one can get away with that, but certainly not if you got like 20,000 followers. Like what the fuck?
Like Justin Bieber wouldn't get away with that shit. And it's Justin Bieber. And then his YouTube, I looked him up on Twitter. I think he only had like 9,000 followers. I'm like, who the fuck is this kid? I mean, yeah, he's hot as shit, but...
Well, is he a professional model?
No, I don't even think he's a professional model.
He's a little tragic twink.
You think he's gay?
Looked like it. Little
Well,
gay boy.
I brought a clip.
Gaydar is bad.
Is he gay? Should be the second vote on the website.
Is Christian Burns gay?
Yeah.
No. I brought in a clip though of Christian Burns berating the security guard who's become a hero since then. By the way, everybody is cheering this guy on. They're saying, "Hey man, that guy's a piece of shit," and this guy just he's elevated. But here's a clip. Listen to this. Listen to some of the abuse. And I tried to clean up this audio, so apologies if the audio quality is bad. Listen to this.
No, you're ugly as shit, bro. You're crucified. What the fuck? Whoa. You're ugly as fucking irrelevant. Kill yourself.
So I don't know if you could hear, but he said you should be crucified. You're ugly as fuck.
Yeah.
You should kill yourself. And this guy, the security guy, had the most calm and the most cool.
Poised, yeah.
Yeah, he was just composed. I mean, you could tell he was getting pissed off. Like he wanted to deck the kid, and I would have. Maybe I would have. I don't know. But this security guard was so composed. Bravo! Hats off to this guy, and he's become a hero since. And this kid, and by the way, he's attacking people who mention him on Twitter. One of our friends, Taylor Nikolai, who's been on the show a long time ago, a guest, said something on Twitter about this kid, and then the kid DM'd Taylor, calling him a piece of shit and saying "fuck
Holy
you."
shit.
Yeah, I'm like, dude,
Wow.
you need to stop, man. This hole is getting so much deeper. There's gonna be no bottom to this.
And you see the way he ended, like that, like harassment thing he did. He said, "I just care a lot about people."
Yeah,
Remember that? I was like, "Holy, oh my god!"
He's like, I don't treat people like dogs or something.
Yeah,
like
he was
that.
like, "You don't treat people like dogs like that, man." And it's like you're sitting here calling him ugly, fat, irrelevant. What the fuck?
That's what these people do. They project, right?
Yeah.
They project. They become sociopaths. But anyway, that happened at VidCon. It was super fun. This was your first time, Blaire?
Yeah, and it was so much more than I expected. You know, it was really hot. I thought I was gonna pass out, get a stroke, etc.
Yeah.
But it was really cool meeting fans because I think sometimes as YouTubers, you tend to think in numbers and you forget that there are individual, real people watching every time. And so meeting them in person was so cool.
Yeah. I mean, VidCon is not my demo. I posted a video on my Instagram feed, which I'll link to on the website, but it was when Logan Paul showed up. And for those of you who don't know
it was a trip.
Yeah, like basically every friend of mine who's over the age of 25 is like, Logan who? Logan Paul came out with this YouTube video that we kind of talked about, and the song is called Everyday Bro.
No, you moron.
That's Jake
Paul.
That's
Oh,
Jake.
oh shit. Oh, I'm sorry. Grandpa. I guess I'm the old one.
Are you low gang or are you Jake Pauler?
I'm a Jake Paul.
You know what he's talking about. And Logan
Yeah.
Logan did a
Low
response
gang,
video to his own brother, and it's
Yeah.
like it created this whole viral thing. They're geniuses, honestly.
Really?
Pretty smart. They made hundreds of millions of views
Musical
off of this.
geniuses above all.
Yeah.
Made white rappers look great, by the way.
It was so crazy seeing the crowd go after him though. It was so insane.
There was a sea of 14-year-old girls chasing, what was it, Jake
A
Paul?
sea.
Logan.
Logan Paul. I don't know which fucking Paul it
Well,
is. Who
I'm
gives a
telling you
shit?
which one it is.
Okay. What? It's one of the Pauls. That's not
You're
important.
fucking low gang. You should know this shit.
Anyway, it's basically a teen heartthrob, and these kids were going nuts over him.
Yeah.
Can I interject? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but we've collabed with Jake Paul and Logan Paul a bunch of times. Logan Paul is actually really dope.
Oh, is he
He's
really?
He's actually a really
Yeah.
cool guy. Like he's
Okay.
actually really
Yeah.
cool. Like
Alright.
he doesn't give a fuck. Like we kept him on set for like 12 hours.
Yeah.
We built an igloo in front of the house, like on a hot summer day, and he stood through the whole fucking thing. Like,
An
he
actual
didn't-
ice
rad.
igloo?
Yeah, we built an igloo in our front yard.
Wow.
On Gower.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
that's cool.
It was really cool. But Logan stayed the whole day. He even like got the chainsaw out and like started help. Like he's
Wow.
the man. So he was
Oh,
actually
that's
really
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Jake Paul, he's more like Disney, you know.
So-
but
so-
Logan's dope.
Well,
I
like
love that guy.
Maddox is he's throwing shade because like he's a hater.
I'm a hater.
He knows putting the Jake Paul in the title will get him views, and that's all.
That's what it is.
All it is.
Playing that game.
Yeah.
Getting those clicks.
I get it, man. You talk shit about Logan Paul on your little
That's what I do.
podcast,
Uh-huh.
you get a bunch of views. I get it, bro. Make that money. Get
Every
that
day.
cheddar.
I get
Every
those-
day, bro.
I'll get those log heads coming after
Get
me.
it, bro.
What do they call them? Low gangs?
Low gang.
The low
Yeah,
gang.
bro.
Okay.
Blaire, do you have it? Okay.
By the way,
Yeah.
mess with me, but don't mess with Low Gang, bro. That's my family, bro.
Blaire, do you have a name for your fans? Do you have any kind of cute name for them?
No, they kind of come up with their own. Like some of them call themselves Blabes, which
Blabes?
is kind of cute, I guess.
That counts, yeah.
Those are all the younger ones, though. Those are the kind that showed up at VidCon, which was really cool. But some people say like,
You know which one I like?
huh? What?
Well, some people were like, because it's Blaire White, they were like white people.
Yeah, they white people or like white.
Blaire White Nation.
Yeah, I'm literally
Blaire
in a
White
group
Nation.
chat of
Yeah.
fans, and they call themselves white supremacists, and it's like horrible, tragic.
You don't want to empower them because then it's just white power.
Yeah, a bunch of 14-year-old girls, white supremacists.
Oh God.
So last week we were trying to figure out a name for Sargon's fans, which he said he didn't have one, and so we came up with a bunch. I think the one we liked best, the one I liked best, was Sargon of Academiacs.
How was Sargon?
He was great.
Beautiful.
He was great. It was a super fun show. It was one of our longest episodes we've done to date. But then that's the first time I've met him, and he said he's been a longtime fan of mine from way back in the day, from the dial-up days, which is because my website's old. It's from 1997.
That's what I heard from him. That he's known about you forever.
Honest God, I know this interview's about Blaire, but I'm a big fan of yours. I've been a big fan. Like, you actually made 8th grade great for me, because everything kind of was like PC and like bullshit, and then your website like made everything kind of dope.
We're running out of time.
No, we're not running out of time, Rucka. This is the best part of the show.
Yeah, it is.
Put this on loop.
Long-time fan of yours. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Well, we should talk about the debate from last week. So we had Sargon of Akkad on, and we had a very interesting, very contentious debate. Should white identity exist?
Interesting. What was his position?
Sargon's position, I think overall he was saying he argued for the part of yes, but I think eventually went to the part of no. Right? Is that right, Rucka?
No, you're absolutely wrong.
How am I wrong?
He was saying the same thing I've been trying to explain to you for at what feels like at least 5 years now.
Yeah.
Is that the white identity nationalist alt-right is like the flip side of SJW. They're all fucking collective identitarians.
Here for that. True.
Yeah,
Okay.
True.
All right.
Ding ding.
Yeah.
Well,
you only hate one.
And a lot of them are like literally role players. Like a lot of them like want to be Nazis online and then like not in real life. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of them turn out to be like Asians or like just like nerdy kids. It's kind of weird, but you're absolutely right.
It's cosplay.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, let's not encourage them. The audience voted yes. White identity should exist. I guess our entire fan base full of fascists and Nazis and white and skin.
Great audience you got there. Yeah.
You know what?
Well,
we had the debate a while ago about whether or not you should punch a Nazi, and the audience voted no. And I called them all Nazis. And then Ruck was like, "That's not fair." I said, "Okay, that's right. They're Nazi sympathizers." So,
wow.
okay.
Well, the thing is, I'm not huge on the like identity politics either, or like identifying with your race. But if every other group was allowed to do it, why not whites?
Guys, I'm really sorry, but what is white identity? Is it just like knowing you're white? Like,
it's, you know,
I
how,
wasn't
like,
here for that.
We know how like a lot of black people really identify with their race, and it's like a big part of who they are, and they go to like clubs and all that kind of thing.
They go to clubs.
like
They go to clubs that let them in.
Like the roof of the stand.
Like the urban clubs. No, I mean like organizations and stuff like that. So the argument is like, should white people be allowed to do that? And if every other group is, then obviously yes. But
well, we've been doing that. That's why it's a problem, apparently, right?
Apparently, it's so funny. Like they literally support things like segregation. Like they support black only spaces, etc. And it's like, that's just a nice way to say segregation.
it is, and that's the argument I was making. Thank you, Blaire. Smart,
Wow.
a real academic.
Well, it's easy for you to say, white man.
Yeah, yeah. I don't get shit. Again, I've said this many times on the show.
Yeah.
I'm not white enough to be white, and I'm not ethnic enough to get anything for
And
it.
I've always said, yes, you are ethnic enough. You're extremely ethnic. Own it.
What
I don't
are
get
you?
shit.
What are you?
I'm
Yeah,
Armenian.
what are you? Oh.
Armenian, and every
I
time
gotta go.
I literally was in a meeting. I swear to God, when I first came out to Hollywood, I sat down with a meeting with a producer friend of mine, and he's like, listen, dude, they're not really hiring anyone in Hollywood other than women and black people right now, or some kind of minority, right? He was like, you got to be some kind of minority. He goes, what are you? I said, I'm Armenian. He goes, no. Literally, I'm like, how is that? That doesn't count for anything.
He was saying this is LA and we've already hired enough. That's what he was saying.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, we also had another question we asked the audience, another fan favorite. We asked them, is Rucka fucking stupid?
Oh boy.
All right, that's a big debate. There's no argument on this one, I think.
Yeah.
But the audience voted yes.
Yeah,
Rucka's
All right,
fucking
hey.
stupid. Fucking stupid. That's it.
Democracy at work, everyone.
There it is. I have some voicemail. Let me play some voicemail on the show. We had a caller call in. He was a guest on a couple of weeks ago, and he called in. He's Joey Salads.
Oh shit.
Joey called in. Listen to this.
Hey, Joey Salads here. I was listening to the Sargon episode, and I heard Ruckus say that anti-feminists need to clean up and get in shape. Ugh! I can lift way more than you, Ruckus. Come at me, bro.
Wow.
He says he lifts more than you.
More than me?
Yeah,
Well,
he lifts
see,
more.
guys
Rucka
like-
has a point though.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Lots of neck beards in that circle.
Right?
I should know I'm in that circle.
Yeah, you know, if Anita Sarkeesian doesn't like men, then show her what she's missing. Fucking be the guy that she fucking thinks about when she goes to bed at night. Like, don't fucking sit there and fucking just call her shit and get mad and shit.
I met.
Wait, that's some stuff to talk about because after you guys did your episode with Sargon, was that before or after Anita called him garbage?
That was
like
just
the day
after.
of.
The day of.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so you talked about it. That was a trip too.
Sargon talked about how Anita called him human garbage and a shithead from the stage.
At an anti-harassment panel.
Right.
Yeah.
I met Anita Sarkeesian a couple of years ago at E3. And when I walked up, I saw her filming something and not playing games. And I stood on the side and started taking pictures and you know, videos and stuff because I was there to document E3. And she kind of looked at me and
She
gestured.
accused you of rape or something?
No. She gestured one of her goons to come over and talk to me. And the goon was like, "What are you doing?"
She has goons?
Oh yeah, she has. She has
it
a
like
couple,
that, yeah.
couple assistants.
Some Armenians.
Yeah, no. Well, that's actually what I walked up and talked to her about. I said, "Hey, I didn't want to talk about video game shit. I didn't want to argue with her. I don't know. It just didn't seem like the time or the place. I just wanted to have a polite, friendly conversation because she seemed like she was intimidated by me." I walked up to her and I said, "Look, I know you're worried about everything right now, and I know your reputation. Everything's going around." It was not too long after she got the bomb threat at one of her talks. So I said, I was the one taking pictures of her. And she goes, "Well, you need to ask permission next time." And I thought, and she was very antagonistic, and I was being as polite as possible. And
Stick all the way up her anus.
yeah, and also, no, I don't. You are in a public space, well, I
Right.
guess at a convention center. But she was at the convention center where everybody's filming everything, and she's a public figure.
Well,
Is she a lesbian?
I don't know. I don't have a really good lesdar. Like,
I
she
mean,
gets
She seems
gaydar.
kind of dykey because the thing is, like, I feel like lesbians always have like a problem, like
a chip on their
like a chip
shoulder?
on their shoulder.
Yeah.
Like they're always like, you know, just have an issue.
Well, if you recently had a bomb threat against you and then you saw someone that looks like you walking up and taking pictures, how would you feel about
This
that?
isn't funny. Nobody laugh.
Oh, and
Stop laughing.
Nobody laugh.
Nobody is laughing. And Joey Salads, by the way, see, he's a guy who I absolutely love, but he's always been jealous of my calf game. He's always talked shit. He's always been like, "Oh, look at here comes the calf guy who getting whistled at by gay men in the street every day." He's mad because he can lift all he wants. He'll never have my calves.
Yeah, I did.
He calls
Well-
you decaf.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Oh shit.
Well, speaking of Joey, he called in again.
Oh no.
Listen to this. We got another voicemail from Joey, and this time he's more of a hater.
Hey, you guys need to have Joey Salads on again. That guy was amazing. He's better than all you guys combined because you all fucking suck. Joey Salads. Joey Salads.
Why are you hating, man?
Wow, Joey Salads.
Wow.
Real hater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you back on, Joey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
except he's gonna have a new title next time he's on the show. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Joey Salads, douchebag of the week. How do you like that, Joey?
Yeah.
Bye, Joey.
Boom.
Peace out.
Yeah. Taking out hard. All right, I got one more voicemail, and then we should get to the debate.
Okay.
This week. This is good. This is gonna be an
Big
exciting one. Yeah, it's a big one. But here's a caller calling in about something we talked about a while ago because we had the biggest douchebag in the universe contest, and someone mentioned at the NFL. It was Mikey. Mikey brought in Tom Brady,
Yeah.
and we talked about how disingenuous that fucking bullshit ass Disneyland commercial is at the end of every Super Bowl, where they walk up to the guy and they're like, "Hey, you just won the Super Bowl. Where are you going to go?" He goes, "I'm going to Disneyland."
Yeah.
And it's just an ad.
No, it's not.
Yes.
They happen one time.
No, it happens
It's
every
every
fucking year.
Every single year.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've seen a
That's why
bunch
it's
of
so
different
corny.
variations.
Yeah, that's why it's so disingenuous. Okay, listen to this caller, though.
Okay, so this is kind of late,
Yeah.
but I was just listening to your guys' episode on the biggest douchebag in the world or in the universe, whatever the fuck it was called. I got to the part where you reference NFL players being interviewed after the Super Bowl. They were asked right after they'd won the Super Bowl. Wasn't a formal interview. "Hey Joe, you just won the Super Bowl. What are you gonna do now?" He said, I'm going to Disneyland, which, yeah, he was paid to do, but they also, they made a commercial out of it. It was a commercial, they do it every year. You see it every year. They always ask the Super Bowl MVP that. It's a yearly thing, because Disney owns everything. But Maddox, anyway, you're a fucking idiot.
Yep.
The NFL is great. You show respect to these fucking athletes. They work really hard. You couldn't do that job. Even if you tried, you would die out there. You're a fucking pussy. But yeah, fuck you, Maddox. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
Rucka and Mike, you guys are okay. You got decent opinions. I agree with you somewhat.
True.
But fuck you, Maddox. You're an idiot. You're a bald fucking cock.
Trigger.
All right, nobody laugh. Stop laughing,
real?
Joey. That's not funny at all.
Nobody's laughing.
What a fucking asshole. And he cracked himself up when he called me a cuck. He said cuck. He goes, oh, you really got me, huh, shithead? Oh, you're so fucking funny. What a stand-up comedian.
You hate that word.
No, I don't care. It's just fucking played out and stupid.
Yeah, so then everyone
Are you an
says it.
actual cuck though?
No, I'm not an actual cuck.
Oh.
Yeah, but
Some people are into that.
I made it exactly, Blaire. Thank you. I made a video a while back called "You Don't Know What a Cuck Is," and I talked about how cuckoldry is a fetish that some people are into now, right?
Yeah. That's like being like dominated by a woman and like having her like fuck other guys.
Exactly. And some people get off on it. And the only difference between that and like say you were having a threesome, right? And you and your partner, you're all banging. And then you take a break. You're like, damn, I'm gonna stay in here in the corner for a second. For a second, your partner and whoever else there is.
And they're just banging.
Yeah, they're just banging. Then for a few minutes, you're a cuck, right? You're a cuckold.
Accidental cuckoldry.
Wow,
that's cuckoldry.
Wow. Well, whatever you have to tell yourself.
Shut up, Rocca. No, it's so stupid. And you know what? The people who like to use that word most are on the new right. The people on the right end of the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
But guess who's also into cuckoldry porn the most? The Bible Belt, the red states.
Oh, I'm sure. They like tranny porn, too. It's like one of the number ones.
Super into it.
Well, the caller had some good points. I agree with you on that. Anyway,
okay, the caller had 0 good points. All right. Caller was a dump. You know what? Yeah. That caller and Joey Salads, both douchebag of the week.
Double douche.
Yeah, thank you for calling in, Joey. But we should move on to the debate. Guys, Urban Dictionary defines a trap as a man. Is this going to be a good definition? Blaire, tell me if you think this is a good definition.
I'll let you know.
Okay. Defines a trap as a man who dresses like a woman and is somewhat feminine in appearance. Could almost be mistaken for a woman until you are in the bedroom with one. And then it says, and then this is
and then you're trapped.
Yeah. And then they say, watch out for these types. They are usually afraid to get intimate because you might discover their little secret, and secret is in quotes.
They're like, oh, I'm on my period.
Yeah.
I wanted you oral.
But sooner or later, you find out the truth. And then there's another definition. It says a pre-op trans woman who is both passable and hot, the kind that when you find she's packing heat, you just don't care. So that is what they define a trap as. Do you think that that's pretty accurate?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
What do you think?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you're here.
Well, on the internet so far, I've seen like trap kind of refer to people as like people that are not transitioning.
There's
like, people
traps
that
and
look
trannies.
like almost like cross dressers in a way.
Yeah.
Okay. Like girls, like guys that look like girls, but I would consider like traps maybe like not transgender people.
Yeah, trannies are a little different.
Yeah, because I mean, I'll be super honest. I know a few traps.
Are you a trap, Blaire? Or are you trans?
No,
You're
I'm trans.
Okay.
Yeah.
But traps wouldn't identify as trans.
I have some trans friends. They prefer the term trans versus tranny. Do you have any preference?
Tranny is a really cute word, and I'm here for it.
Okay, so you're
I really
for
don't care.
All right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad that you're here and we can talk about this because there is no universal identity for any kind of I feel like sexual orientation or gender or skin color. You can't say blacks get offended by this or blacks support this because that's making a generalization.
Yeah,
and same thing with any group.
I got a tweet the other day. Someone like responded to my tweet using the word tranny, and they're like, "Did you really just say the word tranny? You should go fucking kill yourself." And I was like, "You're more upset over me saying the word tranny than actually telling a tranny to kill themselves." Like priorities. It's a mess.
Wow, fantastic! Here you go. I just got triggered. Holy shit! Okay, so that leads us to the debate this week, and this is going to be an interesting one because it's one that I haven't fully formed an opinion. So you guys are going to hear the wheels spinning on this as I think about this. Yeah, we're going to work some stuff out. But the debate is, are traps gay? Now, is this so? Essentially, you're saying it could be just a feminine man or woman. What would it be? So is a trap always a man who is feminine?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Okay. So they're not necessarily closeted. A trap wouldn't necessarily be closeted.
No. I think a lot of times they're, proud of who they are, which is cute for them.
Okay. So do you think, so that's a question. Are traps gay? Do you think that traps are gay?
And for more nuance, it would be like, is fucking a trap gay?
Yeah.
Because traps literally are gay. Like they're boys.
So yes, they're gay?
Traps, yes. And I think trannies are more of like a case-by-case basis. You know what I mean?
Okay, so it's so confusing, and I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore.
I got kind of a like easy way to put it. Like traps don't live their lives as women, whereas trans
they don't
like,
take
people,
drugs or surgery.
Right?
Or
they don't
like
go
that.
through the steps. They don't do the whole thing. It's like like a trans woman like kind of lives her life like as a woman, like identifies as a woman for the most part. Whereas like traps kind of like it's like a pretty dude that goes to clubs like with like green hair or some shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What, Rock? Yes?
Blaire says traps are gay. You say they're not gay.
Then I'm going to say they're not gay. There you go. Let's do this debate.
Contrary.
All right.
Yeah, we're going to argue this. Okay, so if they identify as more feminine than masculine, right? Regardless of their actual physical genitals, wouldn't they then say that they could be straight? Because if they identify...
You said the wheels are going to turn. I think they're stuck right now.
Yeah, who is?
You.
Oh, me? Oh, the cogs? Yeah. Oh, definitely. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I don't know. This is all confusing territory for me. So.
Oh, it's not. You're a master debater. You got this. Come on. Show us some confidence. Do it.
Well, I'll tell you what. I have a friend who is gay, and he occasionally...
Yeah, I know a black guy. I have a gay friend. All right, we get it. You're a fucking saint. Get back to the debate.
Okay, Rucka.
How gay is he?
He's like an 11. Like seriously, this guy. Maybe I'll have him on the podcast sometime. An average conversation will have him talking about the Golden Girls, crying, stopping, and then talking about his platforms, and so that's what
sounds like a good time.
Yeah, whenever I hang out with him, he dresses like a man, a traditional man, and then sometimes like on Halloween and parties and things like that, he likes to put on
Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween, gay Christmas, and in Hollywood is gay Christmas, right? Yeah.
Well, him dressing any particular way on Halloween doesn't really...
Well, it's not just Halloween. It's also any kind of special events, like any like pride parades or just parties sometimes. He'll put on his platforms.
Yeah.
So,
but does he fuck men like that? Does he go home with them?
I think so, yeah.
Like straight men.
Does
he treat?
That's the queen. That's trapping.
Thinking, yeah, it's a trap. It's like he falls into trap. Admiral Akbar.
That's trapping.
That's what trapping is. Yeah. I get it now. Okay. So are traps gay? Yeah, they're gay. Yeah, that's. So then
we agree.
So they are.
Yeah,
that's the debate.
That's the debate. Yeah.
I thought this was like a full, long form debate show.
Same.
Nope. We just solved the problem.
All right, hold on. Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
All right. So
move on to trannies though.
Yeah, that's
trannies are different.
Kind of blurred,
okay.
Yeah.
Are trannies gay?
I mean, it depends on. Okay, Blaire, you can speak more to this than I can.
It's like a case-by-case basis. Like there are like linebackers in wigs who are trannies who transition, and then there are like trannies who look like kind of normal and just like live their life, and that is a little different. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why I say case-by-case basis for trannies, and then always gay for traps.
Always gay for traps. Case-by-case for trannies.
Well, what if a trap has sex with women?
Yeah. What if a trap has sex with...
A reverse trap.
Yeah.
I just want to shirt that says "gay for traps."
Like a unicorn. Reverse trap.
A reverse trap. If a trap has sex with another man, so he's trapped them, right?
Yeah.
It's like rape, dude. That's horrible.
Then they're both. Are they both gay?
I would say they're both gay because they're two men having sex.
Right.
Right.
But
if the trap is like Starla at like 9 p.m., but then wakes up and it's like Jimmy, like back in like
Starla to Jimmy.
Yeah. It's like then that's gay. It's like you wake up. It's like
always some
again.
extra
like,
name too, like Starla, or Longoria.
Well, hold on. Here's an interesting.
Okay,
I just thought of this point. Okay, the wheel started spinning again. The cog got unstuck. Okay, here's an interesting point. It says here, according to the definition, a man who dresses like a woman. Okay, so if the man stops dressing like a woman, like takes his clothes off, then he's no longer a trap by this definition. He's just a gay dude.
Right.
That's what makes it gay.
So then
I
it's
guess.
gay.
Yeah.
Then that is gay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's to the point where you get naked.
How can I argue that he's not gay? I'm trying to think of one way in which a trap could not be gay. how's that even possible? Is it possible?
Traps always are.
Traps are always gay.
Are. It's trannies that are case by case basis, in my opinion. But you might have a different one. I don't know.
What's your opinion?
Yeah.
Well, I'm agreeing because I don't know how to argue that a trap wouldn't be gay. But let me ask you this: do traps ever transition into like post-op? Did they ever go?
Yeah,
like,
sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes, but I feel like when you're in the trap stage,
You were probably a trap before you were trans, right?
probably like when I was 17.
Right. I think that's the first step, you know?
Yeah, for some of them, but
Right.
some of them no. Some of them just live their life trapping.
All right, here's where we show Blaire's pre-transition pictures.
How about we don't? How about we don't?
How long was the transition period?
I mean, I'm still in it, but it's been probably like 3 years at this point.
3 years. Okay. So here's how a trap could not be gay. All right. If a trap transitions fully, then they're no longer a trap. They're just trans, right?
Yeah, because like
Fuck, I don't-
gay men aren't attracted to trannies. In
All
general.
right, listen. Traps are gay because they're gay. All right.
Yeah.
But here's another topic that might be worth discussing.
Yeah.
So Blaire, I quoted you once on this show. Something I
you?
thought you said about non-binaries, and then a caller called in here and yelled at me about this. So let's.
Interesting.
I thought I heard you say once that non-binaries, like, it's a cultural thing. Like, okay, like if you could be a lesbian who's like Republican, you can be a lesbian who's Democrat, you can be a lesbian who's
not
communist,
political.
you can be a lesbian who's fucking Mexican fascist. But if you're non-binary, you're a 100% Democrat voter who has a special request for how they'd like to be treated. Am I quoting you? Is that something you might have said or believed?
Yeah, non-binary was literally invented. It's political.
It's a political movement.
It's political. Whereas, being trans exists entirely outside of that realm, in the sense that like there are like Republican trannies, Democrat trannies, like all kinds.
Okay.
So
we had the caller respond to that who called in and said, "Hey, I'm non-binary. That doesn't make me a part of any political movement. I just don't want to be defined by my vagina."
okay, well they sound confused. But no, I mean, I've had a lot of experience with those types of people, and it always is political. It always is like they took some feminist course or gender studies course, and they come out of it thinking that they're like some other gender. That's my opinion. Never met one that hasn't done that.
All right. Well, if the caller from last time wants to call in, and I don't know, I just thought it would be interesting.
No,
to bring
that is interesting. Yeah. I looked up a little bit more on traps on Know Your Meme. All right, guys, I'm learning. Okay, this is and I feel like most of our audience is learning too. Yeah. It says here, a trap is an internet slang term used online for transgender people and androgynous anime characters. Frequently used on 4chan, the word has taken from the popular Admiral Akbar meme, "It's a trap," and used to express the fear that transgender people are attempting to trick or confuse others through their appearance, i.e. a trans woman coercing a cis male into sex. Now, cis male, for those of you who don't know, is someone who is born as a male and identifies as a male. Is that
And
correct?
a lot of them do that. They try to trick people. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of fucked up.
That's just deception, like, regardless. That's just bad.
That's fucked up. Don't do that.
It's deceptive, yeah. So it says here, while the term has mostly been used as a pejorative, some with transgendered community have begun attempting to reclaim the word. However, this is still being debated. So there's a bunch of memes about this, right?
It's a meme.
And it's not only a meme, but this was I feel like it was a punchline in a lot of movies in the 80s, a lot of rap songs and things like that. Like Far Side actually had a joke like this in one of their songs where it was called "Oh Shit." It's one of my favorite songs, by the way. It's a really cool hip hop song, but the song is "Oh Shit," and they talk about all these different scenarios where you say "Oh shit," right? And one of them is a trap scenario. So this guy meets a girl and he says, "Oh, she's so fine. I take her back to the crib, take off her skirt, and oh shit," right? It's a trap. That was like the punchline to that song. I feel like that was a big thing in the 80s and probably 90s, but that's not anymore, right? Do you think it's because people are trying to be more sensitive? Why do you think that is?
Yeah, people are being more sensitive, but at the same time, a lot of the girls are doing that. Like they're going out and trying to trick people, and they talk about it. And if you look up on YouTube, if you search the words "he didn't know I was trans," it's like a huge tag, like probably like 100 videos from trans women talking about how they once tricked a guy into hooking up with them and didn't tell them that she was trans.
Is that that's kind of a big fetish though, isn't it?
Oh, it's a huge fetish, which is why it's so stupid to trick people, because it's not hard to find people that want to bang a tranny. Like, it's just not.
Right.
So I don't get it.
So this is what I learned most recently. So I had a sponsor on the show probably about half a year ago called Candid, the anonymous chat.
They shut down last week.
Yeah, they shut down last week. And so I was using the app. I pulled it up, and I was looking at what was happening, what happens to a community, a chat community, an online group, when you tell them that the platform is going to shut down. Tell you what happens. Everybody posts their genitals.
Yeah. Right.
There were so many
Straight
dick pics.
Mayday. Yeah.
Yeah. It was nuts. And looking at there were so many dicks, and most of them are ugly. And all of them were ugly.
Yeah. There was a Blaire White fan group on there, and it was just dicks, vaginas, all kinds of gnarly stuff. It was crazy.
Did Candid ever sponsor some of your videos?
Yeah. Yeah,
oh,
2
interesting. What did you think of Candid as a platform?
I liked Candid. I got a lot of backlash for doing sponsorships with them, but I liked it. Well, because they did some like censorship of words on the app and stuff like that, and people would say, well, how can you be a free speech activist and do that? But it's
Fucking
like,
stupid.
there are no social media websites that don't do a certain amount of censorship.
Right.
You can't just spam like the N-word on any website and expect them to just keep it up. You know what I mean? So it's
but you can
stupid.
try.
You can definitely try.
Don't try
that.
Don't do this at home. But, I think there's a certain element of embarrassment with sponsorship. Like, people are like, oh, how can you get paid to do that? It's like,
But it's stupid.
yeah, fucking who cares? Just, there's ads everywhere.
You fucking dumb shit hypocrites. You're complaining about Candid on Facebook and Twitter after you and Reddit, after you've signed their terms of service, which specifically says they don't allow harassment, they don't allow
Even
certain
more
words.
strict.
They're even more strict than fucking Candid. Who gives a shit, you morons?
Yeah, it's actually retarded.
Oh, it's so dumb.
Yeah, but I did like them as an app. I thought it was
did too.
a good premise. It was like a tamer 4chan. Like
Right.
if you don't want to go and log on and see like dead bodies and people fucking dogs and stuff, go to Candid.
Right. When I first saw Candid, they approached me to do sponsorship on the show. I thought, oh, wow, an anonymous chat app? This is going to be poison. This is going to be just the worst of the worst. It's going to be like 4chan with no reins, no control, and 4chan's already bad enough. So I thought it was going to be awful. And then I tried using the app, and it was actually I had very productive conversations and debates and had conversations with people. It was not that bad.
Well, you know why? Because they were really selective with the people that they did sponsorships with. They did it with a lot of political people and people that had like actual conversations on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so the audience of those people, were less of the cancer, I guess.
Right. Well, I was surprised at how decent a lot of the communities were, even some of the more contentious ones like the politics forums. So what happened on Candid, to get back to the trap discussion, is on the last day, everybody's posting their genitals, everybody's posting pictures of their boobs, their vaginas, everything, right? Then one phenomenon I noticed was that there were a fair amount of trans people on the forums, and they were not getting hate. They were actually getting a lot of interest from dudes who said they were straight but curious. Or I guess bi-curious in that case. Is that right? Mm-hmm. So and it seemed way more common than I would have thought, because everything I've read is, it's like less than 5% of the population. Is that right?
That's false as fuck. I don't believe that. If that was true, if it was less than 5%, I feel like I would have a much harder time dating and finding people and all that kind of shit. And I just haven't. There's a huge misconception. It's definitely more people. Obviously not everyone. That would be stupid to think as well, but it's a lot bigger than people think.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at transport in general, the popularity online, like it's huge.
How, in your estimation, would you say what percentage of the population is actually bisexual for males?
As bisexual?
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't know much about bisexual people.
So it'd be kind of interesting. So I don't know if like bisexual people would be interested in trans women. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
the men who are interested in trans women are always either like straight but have like a fetish, or they have a curiosity or whatever have you, or they're bisexual.
Well, there's a video.
Never gay though. That's another misconception. Like gay men don't like trannies.
Yeah, I mean, let me just pipe in here real quick.
Pipe
I
in.
would never obviously I'm dating Blaire and I think she's like super hot and she's the best and everything, but like I would never ever in my life like hook up with a dude that looks and acts like a guy, Like I don't know if that makes any
Which
sense.
brings us to our point that traps are not gay.
Right.
Traps are not gay.
No, traps are gay because it's
Traps
like
are gay,
that's
trannies
a
aren't.
dude because it wakes up and it's like, hi, I'm Bobby or whatever, because traps don't live their lives as women.
Yeah.
It's like a guy that
There's
just puts
something
on a
going
wig,
on, but it's not homosexuality. It's an identity issue, kind of like gender dysphoria, but in the neighborhood maybe. And as you said, many traps are on their way to being trans, so it's something separate than gayness. Therefore, traps are not gay. AKA what Maddox should have been debating this whole time, instead of turning it into a discussion, an important discussion we need to finally have. Just fucking debate.
Yeah, I don't.
It's debate.
Okay.
I don't know. What,
Now,
you're supposed to be this fucking master debate master.
Yeah, I am a master debater. Okay,
Yeah.
I always master debate, but
Yeah.
but it needs to be informed, and this is something I'm learning about mostly from
Yeah,
from this
well,
topic.
the problem is like there's also not a lot of language for certain things, and like life isn't black and white. You know what I mean? And so there's really no language to describe a man who's attracted to trans women. Like, for me, straight is the best word, but it's not absolutely perfect either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a man who's attracted. So Joey, you consider yourself straight, right?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
well, besides that.
Well, yeah, but you're attracted to. Blaire is a woman, and you're
Right.
attracted to women.
Right.
So yeah, that's straight.
Yeah, and some people would say, well, he must be bisexual, but even then, it's like, but you've
But that
never
label
hooked up
sounds
with
so lame because it's like I would like you know what I mean
because you've
It's
never
like,
hooked up with a dude before,
yeah,
or
right.
like so that doesn't work either.
So it doesn't
straight
really-
is the best word. I think.
I would totally consider myself straight. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I'm sure I'm gonna get like a lot of people being like, oh, total fag and shit
Probably.
like that all the time.
How did you
Not
get
on the internet.
No,
Not on the internet.
No,
Yeah.
not on Candid.
That's
Rest in peace, Candid.
Yeah.
I actually missed the
Bye,
app.
Candid.
I
Yeah.
loved Candid. I use the app every day. Even after they sponsored the show, I kept using the app.
No, me
and
too.
this is how you know is a fucking sincere sponsorship because I'm
Yes.
still talking about it and I like the app. It was fucking fun to use.
And she uses it all the time too.
Yeah,
I mean, like
it was neat, right?
Yeah, people
Oh,
were
yeah.
like, "Oh, she just got the money, never used it." I use it all the time.
Yeah, me too. So there's a video on YouTube called "Are Traps Gay" by Astrocyst. I'm gonna play a little clip from this. Listen to this.
My original theory of what a trap is could perhaps be incorrect. In fact, for some reason, there are multiple meanings to the word trap that I was unaware of. Being a beta male virgin faggot, I had only ever used or seen the word trap in the context of my Yu-Gi-Oh card collection. This is when I found 4chan that night, and was I disgusted. Everyone had some kind of sick obsession with traps, as if it were, the only thing that mattered to them.
Anyway, yeah, he goes on in this video to talk about literal bear traps. So a number of people have weighed in on this. It seems to be a huge meme on 4chan. Why do you think that is?
4chan is a place where like fetishizers go. It's all about fetishes on there, and like being trans is a fetish for a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's make it clear. A trap is the guy who is dressing feminine, right? Mm-hmm. If the trap is gay, then why does he have to dress feminine?
Well, because they want to fuck straight guys. They don't want to fuck gay guys.
Do you think it's enough for a straight guy? Like, I guess maybe that's a
Straight
question
men
for
are
Joey.
very visual. I feel like it can be enough. I don't know.
No, it's kind of about the attitude too. Like, I mean, I don't think I would get tricked by a trap. Like, I don't think it's possible because traps don't put in the effort and like they don't act womanly. It's just kind of like
No hormones.
Yeah, there's nothing there. It's really literally pretty much just like dude that puts on mascara and a wig. Sometimes they could probably look passable, maybe, but it's just not. It's not
the same.
It's just a guy that's putting on stuff,
Well,
it's not the same thing. It's not.
It says here it's a pre-op trans woman, according to Urban Dictionary, who is both passable and hot. The kind that when you find out she's packing heat, you just don't care. Now, here's a question. We're all making an assumption here that we can all see, right? But there are blind people. And blind people are also, right? If you meet somebody who could be a trap, but they don't go the extra effort to dress up, then is that trap straight?
So someone who walks over to a blind person and says, "Hey, I'm a lady."
Yeah.
That's a trap?
Yeah. Just by
Oh,
voice.
that's a whole new level of
Okay.
fuckery.
And if
tricking a blind person.
And if they're blind and deaf and you just spray some perfume on yourself, you walk over to them and start jerking them off, now you're a trap?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And the blind
if
person
they're
is straight.
deaf, blind, dumb, and desensitized, and you just walk over to them and just fucking violate them horribly, you're a trap.
No, you're a rapist. That's just rape.
That's right. That's right.
This is regular rape.
Not okay.
That's just plain old vanilla rape.
Yeah.
So
Vanilla rape.
what I'm kind of curious is the person who's having sex with a trap. So Joe, you hit on something kind of interesting,
Okay.
which is there has to be that visual element for you, right? So the
Right.
person has to look like they're female. Otherwise,
Right.
you're not attracted because you're not attracted. I mean, beyond the normal amount, you're not attracted to me or Rucka in this room, right?
No, not beyond the normal amount. Yeah,
Unfortunately,
just the
for you
regular
guys.
amount. Yeah.
Just the regular amount. Yeah. Which is a lot, by the way, everyone listening. Yeah.
Killing the game.
And we're putting these videos on YouTube too as well, so
Yeah,
you can
great.
check it out.
That's
But
cool.
the person who has sex with a trap, it seems like there's varying degrees of how straight you could possibly be. Now we're getting in this whole fucking thing.
Yeah, it's a scale.
It's a scale.
Spectrum
It's a
of
scale.
gayness right
It's a
now.
spectrum of gayness. Like I said, my friend who's gay is an 11. Like he, like if you cast this guy in a movie to be a gay guy, the director would say, tone it down. You're too, like, this is ridiculously gay.
Yeah.
You can't, no one can be this gay.
He sounds fun.
He's a lot of fun. Every guy he meets at a bar, he says, oh my gosh, I'm going to marry him. This is the one. I'm going to marry him. And so he brings him back to his apartment, and he gives him the Madonna test. Madonna versus Lady Gaga. And if they answer wrong, he kicks them out.
What's the
and
wrong answer?
What's the right or
the wrong
wrong
answer is Gaga. He's a huge Madonna fan.
No, I don't like him anymore.
Oh, you will never. You guys will fight, and he doesn't give a fuck. He met this guy. They hit it off all night long, 4 hours long. They were making out. They were going to dinner. They were going on dates. They were like playing grab ass on the dance floor. Everything was going great, right? Then they got back to his place. He says, Madonna or Gaga? He goes, I like Gaga. And he goes, get the fuck out of my apartment.
Holy shit.
No joke. And then the guy started laughing. He goes, I'm serious, leave. And he kicked him out because he liked Gaga.
That's hilarious. No, I have a really good friend who's gay as well, and he does the Madonna versus Gaga thing, but he's a Gaga.
That's
person.
a thing? That's
it's crazy.
Okay.
Like, I don't get, but it's a thing.
Yeah.
I don't fall into the traps, bro.
I hang out with him sometimes and a bunch of his gay friends. And it's kind of like hanging out with your bro friend, like for guys who haven't done this. If you don't have like just a group of gay friends to hang out with, it's almost like the amount of sexual talk that girls have, but with gay shit, and they are not shy.
No, gay men are a trip. They're very promiscuous.
It's
insane.
It's insane. So where were we? We were talking about the spectrum of straightness and gayness, right? Yeah. So if a trap is just a guy who looks or dresses feminine, but there's varying degrees. There's got to be a tipping point. There's got to be something where if they haven't shaved, but he is wearing female clothes or looking feminine. Other than that, that might not be enough, right?
No, I would think not, right? If there was a beard.
What else?
No way.
Well, I mean, not even beard, but just like a 5 o'clock shadow.
No, yeah, no way. That's bad. That's super bad.
Yeah, and then there's
That's
also like trannies with like vaginas.
Yeah.
So it's like scale.
But it seems kind of arbitrary to say that, oh man, that dude over there hasn't shaved, so that's gay. Oh, now he's shaved, that's straight.
And then there are like genetic females who like grow beards too. Like, so
I know like chicks.
True.
I know like regular chicks with like armpit hair, and that's like, so now we're just getting into everything.
Man, that's it's society. That's the media. That's the fucking male-dominated capitalism telling you that women should shave their fucking body hair, bro.
It's like actually just you being gnarly. Like, that's gross.
It's kind of gnarly.
Yeah, well, I think traps are straight as shit. There you go.
Yeah,
boom.
Finally,
brought it. Yeah. What?
So you would hook up with a trap?
Yeah, and that'd be too super straight.
Yeah.
The truth comes out. The truth comes out.
There, I said it. There you go. I'm winning this fucking debate.
Yep.
I'll go the extra mile to do this.
Was the world this fucking strange like 10, 20 years ago?
That's what I was saying, dude. No, it wasn't.
No.
But it was. Like,
Maybe it was, but no one talked about it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good point. No one talked about it. Do you feel like we are the most accepting we've ever been, or do you feel like there have been times in our history that have been more accepting than now?
No, definitely most accepting now.
Most accepting now.
It's just been a continual thing.
Well, so why do you think, to harken back to the debate we had last week, just for a minute, why do you think that there is a rise of SJW culture and this kind of backlash and saying, okay, we need more acceptance. We need to be more considerate, more thoughtful.
Well, it's because the continuation, like I said, has gone on for so long and things are just so open and free now that there's a lot of people out there who have like nothing to fight for and they've never experienced any struggle in life, and it becomes finding struggles. It becomes inventing struggles. Not to say there aren't legitimate grievances, you know what I mean? Like, all the isms still exist, but they don't exist to the point that I think a lot of people make it out to be.
Bingo. Blaire, I have said this for a long time too. I think that the reason we have so much of this bullshit right now is because we don't have a war. We don't have.
This is our.
Years.
No,
well,
not a real fucking war. You get fucking boots on the ground.
We got boots on the ground.
We get more boots on the ground.
Okay, finish your little thought.
Yeah, because nobody. Well, look, we don't sacrifice for the wars that we're in today. We get up and play video games. We get on and say our shitty opinions on this podcast. We fuck around all day. That's what we do. We're fucking lazy ass millennials. But in World War II era, everyone had to sacrifice.
Yeah,
you had to ration metal, and you had to ration food, and you had to be conscious of the sacrifices that our fellow countrymen were making abroad.
So we're supposed to be perpetually at war, or we start acting fucking crazy?
Bingo, exactly.
Wow.
That's how we fix the SJW problem. Let's just bomb someone.
A lot.
We
do that too,
We're doing plenty of bombing. Here's my opinion. There is a legitimate movement towards tolerance, as in like accepting everyone, letting everyone do what they want. You know, gays used to live in the shadows. Today they're marching
11s.
proudly. They're 11s. So blacks used to be treated, you know, what I would consider unfairly. Now they're free. What do you think, Maddox? Were blacks considered unfairly in the past?
Yeah, they were treated unfairly.
I don't want to assume anything.
Yeah.
Okay. And the SJWs, they see that sentiment of tolerance and they cash in on it to promote an agenda that has nothing to do with individual freedom. Quite the opposite.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I would agree with some of what you said.
Okay.
Well, here back to the trap debate. Yeah. I just thought of something. Okay, Here we go. I'm gonna sink this battleship of yours, Blaire. Get ready for this. All right,
sink me.
God.
Here it is. If traps are gay, then why does it matter for them to dress up or act like women? Boom.
Because they want to fuck straight dudes.
Yeah,
they don't want to fuck gay men. They want to fuck straight dudes.
But straight dudes, they're not straight if they're fucking traps.
They want to trap them.
They
want to get them into bed.
Yeah.
And then that's what it is. That's what they live for.
Do they
it's a sad life, but it's what they live for.
Do they think? Look, it's just. Can you guys just get over the shit? It's a fucking fantasy. You guys are pretending like the straight dudes don't know. They fucking know.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's true.
But I mean, it's. Think about it, Maddox. When you see a husky lesbian walk by in her overalls, and don't you think to yourself, man, I'd love to trick her into having sex with me? All the time.
Yeah, trick is the operative word.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've had some lesbian friends. Actually, I had a crush on a lesbian for a long time, and I didn't know until way too late that she was a lesbian. Not to the point where we were like, you know, making out or in bed or anything like that, but to the point where I was about to ask her out on a date, and a friend said, "Oh, you know, she's gay." I'm like,
that sucks.
Like, what? Really gay?
Yeah, how gay? Yeah.
Yeah. I've since found out I think she's bisexual, but I think definitely more.
I don't think lesbians exist.
You don't think lesbians exist?
Okay.
Wow.
I've heard Milo say this. But
has anyone here ever met a lesbian who has not at least one time fucked a woman, fucked a man?
One of my best lesbian friends, I just saw her at VidCon, and I was like, "How are you doing?" Blah blah blah. She's like, "I'm great," and she's like, "I'm with a guy now."
See,
and she's like,
it's a
she's
thing.
been a lesbian ever since I know her.
And on
like,
the contrary, I've met very,
happened.
very few gay men who have fucked women. I feel like female sexuality is just more fluid. That's what I think.
I have a friend who's a lesbian, and she said she was a gold star. Now, gold star, for those who don't know.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, a gold star is a lesbian woman who's never fucked a man. So they call themselves gold stars.
That's how rare it is. They have to call themselves something. Like, that's crazy.
You get a little star, a little sticker.
Yeah.
Well, but if you have to control for the social stigma. Once you remove the social stigma of having gay sex with someone, then you will probably have more gold stars because there won't be the pressure from society for women to go out and, you know, hook up with men. My sister, who's since passed away, unfortunately, but she was straight most of her life, and she came out as gay much later, and she has kids. She was married, she got divorced, and then found the love of her life and was gay. But it's because she grew up in a very conservative state. I'm from Utah, the conservative state of Utah, and eventually came out as gay. And it's such a strange phenomenon because her daughter was one of the biggest proponents of the DOMA Act in Utah, the Defense of Marriage Act, which is very strongly against gay marriage.
Yeah.
And her mom was gay. And I feel like if there wasn't so much societal pressure, especially in a conservative state where they said, you need to grow up, get married, have kids, that's what you do. And she did that. But the pressure eventually, you know, she couldn't stand it. And then she eventually came out.
Right. I think there's the societal pressure aspect. A lot of gay people grow up and they feel like they have to be with the opposite sex, which is like, that's shitty. But I do think also that female sexuality is just more fluid. I think that it's a lot less black and white with women, in my opinion. Whereas with men, I feel like men are so fucking horny, they know from the jump what they want, and so they always just go for that.
In other words, bisexual men are typically on their way to being gay? Would you say that?
I would say almost like, yeah. I would say if you're bi, if like, I met a guy, he's like, hey, I'm bi. So I'm like, okay, you hook up with dudes sometimes? He's like, and then he's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, that is a gay guy. Like, there's no question. It's like, dude. Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like
I've never seen a bi
legitimate.
guy like end up with like a chick.
That's kind of true. They always end up
They
with
never
men,
do,
I think.
yeah.
But I don't know. I think bi people do exist, but lesbians don't. Just kidding.
Lesbians.
You say you're just kidding, but you just made an interesting, compelling case why they don't exist. I'm curious now if they do or not.
Right. And, you know, I can actually say that as someone who went from male to female hormones. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of mental changes. And, like, I'm not attracted to women now, but my sexuality still now and the way I view sex is a lot more. It's just so different. Like, it's really hard to explain, but it's more fluid. It's more out there. Whereas before, it was just very, like, cut and dry, black and white. So I think women just are different.
Are you attracted strictly to men now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, always was. Always
was. Okay,
yeah.
Always was. So, about the lesbian fluidity of their sexuality, here's the thing. I've met girls who are absolutely straight, and they don't fuck around with that shit at all. And you know, because I'll put out my feelers.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, hey, look at this. What's on TV? Lesbians, huh?
Yeah.
They'll say no. Stop it, Maddox. I'm not even a little bit gay. I'm like, what if? I'll come up with different scenarios. I'm like, well, what if it's like CPR, and they come to, and they're like, and they're super hot. They're a 10, right? The girl's a 10. And you're doing CPR, and she's like, listen, I want to thank you by continuing to do CPR and make
Right.
out. Like you wouldn't. She's like, no.
Right. That's how I feel too. Like, I would never be attracted to a woman whatsoever. There's just nothing in me that would ever want that.
So, but what about gold stars? You don't think gold stars exist?
Well, I mean, I'm sure they exist, but I think in general, women are just more fluid.
Okay.
Because, like, I mean, it's very hard to meet a lesbian who's never fucked a man or been with a man.
Yeah.
You know?
I like I was saying, my friend was a gold star until the age of 24. Then she finally dated a dude, and now she's back to girls right now.
See, they bounce around a lot.
Yeah.
But again, I think the argument, it's a really strong argument, I think, that traps are not gay. Traps are straight, because if they were gay, they wouldn't even put in the effort. Maybe they personally like to get off on knowing they dress somewhat feminine. And then have sex with a guy who is straight, because it seems like, talking to some of my gay friends, the biggest thing that gets them off.
You want what you can't have.
Exactly. So to turn a straight dude, you know, to have their first gay experience is like the biggest fetish. There was that Vice article not too long ago where I think a guy was saying he was going to have sex with a different person, a different dude every single day. I think, right? Or a different girl every single day. Was that what it was? Do you remember, Joey?
I think I saw something like
that.
Yeah. So this guy, and I have this theory. I had this theory a long time ago where I think if people have too much sex with too many different partners, something kind of shifts. Yeah, something kind of shifts, because you can't get off anymore, because you've seen it all, you've done it all, and you're only into the fringes of things, of fetishes that get you off. And so this guy was like that. He had sex with one person every single day, including prostitutes, including just random hookups, including exes and things like that. That at some point, he said that he couldn't even get hard anymore for anything. He said he was experimenting with men, experimenting with multiple people, with women, that sort of thing. Eventually, the only thing that could get him off is the thought of turning a straight man gay, or having a first gay experience with, and then I found out that's kind of common in amongst a lot of gay men. Yeah,
something most of my gay friends have said to me, my gay male friends have said to me since transitioning, because I transitioned, and then like the attention you get from people shifts a little bit. Like, it's suddenly straight men that are buying you drinks and etc. And like all of them express a certain amount of jealousy towards that. So it's a thing. They want what they can't have.
Well, before we move on, I'll make my final point. I think that it's important that we take into consideration that traps like to dress feminine, even though I think that they know, the guys know. The guys that they're having sex with know, I think. Most for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, guys, I don't want to be that guy, but I can show you guys some traps that are like, they look like fucking hot chicks.
Oh, yeah. Well, I went to Thailand, and Thailand has some of the most gorgeous, amazing trans women I've seen in my life. I went to a strip club in Thailand one time, And it was part of this tour package, and they said, okay, as part of the tour package, here are your options for the entertainment for tonight.
Oh, nice.
The option number 1 is the night market, and we're like, what's that? They're like, you just go buy produce. I'm like, okay, what's option number 2? And they're like, it's adult dancing. I'm like, okay, we'll do that. And so I went to this strip club in Thailand. Have you ever been to Thailand, Blaire?
No.
It's amazing. They have the show, they're Tiffany dancers is what they call them. And it's just like an incredible trans culture over there. We went to this strip club though. You pay $35 at the door, and that's it. No one tips. You just go in and you watch the performance. They had 3 stages on the front of the show, at the front of the stage, right? 3 stages at the front of the building. On the center stage, there was just normal dancers who came out and danced, and then on the left and the right of the stage there were trick performers, and these were women who could do all sorts of amazing things with their vaginas, like
The
drawing
thing?
yeah, the ping pong
cool.
thing. They could do ping pong, they could blow darts,
Holy shit.
and they had really good aim with their pussies. Yeah, they were like hitting the target every time, and they could draw, they could do all sorts of tricks. At one point during the night, this woman comes out and she asked for a volunteer from the audience, and she was holding a fish bowl just full of water. And she pointed to someone from the audience. They came up and she handed the bowl to this Chinese guy. He takes the bowl and she squats in front of the bowl, and 3 live goldfish fall out of her vagina.
I've seen a video like that before.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Incredible.
So I saw that shit, right? And then
Talent.
on the main stage, there was other performers and dancers and stuff. And then at one point during the night, this woman comes out, starts dancing, and she is breathtaking. Everybody in the audience, there was an audible gasp. It was so quiet, and everybody was just fixated on her. She was probably the most beautiful woman I've seen in my life. She starts dancing. The lights go off. And they come back on, and she's untucked her penis. And everyone's again gasped like, "Oh my god, that's incredible." And I looked at this person, and I was looking at her in a different light, trying to see if there was any noticeable anything, Adam's apple, anything, and I couldn't tell. And then the lights went off. She tucked it back in and continued dancing. And that's
Thailand.
Yeah, that's Thailand. But yeah, they have this Tiffany dancer culture, which these Tiffany women are, I think, amongst the best in the world. I don't know what it is about Thailand, but
Yeah, I've heard some scary shit about Thailand too. How like someone went there. I knew someone who went there, and there was like literal like children dancing like scantily clad in like windows. And
oh yeah, Thailand is fucked.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of that shit, thankfully. Otherwise, I'd have to bust out my guns. But
right,
Your arms?
yeah, my arms, my guns.
You'd see a bunch of kids dancing, and you'd bust out your biceps. What do you mean?
Yeah, to go in there and break some heads.
Oh, I didn't know if you meant like flexing.
I'm not gonna fucking flex, you creep.
I was like, what the fuck do you mean bust out your guns?
Anyway, that's the debate, guys. We should, but before we move on, Rucka, do you have a wrap up for us?
Oh God, yes. People are complicated.
truth.
No, that's not it. Hey, this is the Rucka wrap up, guys. I have to tell every guest this is the Rucka wrap up. Cool. All right. Fucking psychology is a new science. I know we like to think we have it all figured out. It's in that we're in the dark ages. Okay, we've got a lot. We're very advanced when it comes to like fucking going to the moon and shit like that. Fucking medicine.
But we don't know shit about people.
It's a Rucka wrap up.
My bad.
Not a Blaire wrap up.
Not the Blaire wrap up. But fucking psychology is new. And unfortunately, we began to even study psychology as we were doing away with, like, basically reason and objective science anyway. So, like, we never really got to learn very much about people before we lost our fucking mind. Okay? There's a little bit of history for you. That's not part of the Rucka wrap-up. All right? Now, I just don't want to fucking leave the house anymore. Like, I'm starting to understand why the whole fucking internet is just glued to their fucking Wi-Fi. Because, like, the fucking world is freaking me out, man. I just, like, all I ask of anyone is just keep the kids out of it. Don't fucking educate the kids about the fucking gender sexuality shit. Just fucking give them some fucking Lego and some fucking, some Teletubbies, although maybe that's already crossing into fucking freaky queer kid science. And just fucking let them go to school, man. Just fucking give them their fucking lunchbox and let them learn about this shit when they get a little bit older and go on 4chan. Thank you.
It's a rucker wrap-up.
There you go.
Wait, I got a really quick story. I'm so sorry, but you said let him go to
the
school.
wrap-up is over.
Yeah, this is the Joey wrap-up. Go for it.
Well, here's what happened. Just last weekend, I was getting drunk at the Bronson bar, down on Sunset and whatever. But I was getting drunk there, and then this lady came up to us, and she was like, I'm a 6th grade teacher in California, right? And then we started talking to her, blah, blah, blah. She started talking about race and all the liberal, like, topics, right? She just started blasting it off, right? But she's a 6th grade English teacher, right? And then she's like, where are you guys from? And I was with my friend, and she's like, oh, I'm from Maryland. And she goes, where's that?
She didn't know where Maryland was.
Shit.
Yeah, so going to school might not even be the best option. I mean, she had no idea
shit,
where
that's
Maryland. And I'm
tragic.
like, I'm from Virginia, which is below Maryland. Like,
Yeah,
like,
so
so
don't-
she's teaching
yeah.
children.
So,
So I don't know. It's
Right.
just
Don't,
like,
don't
shit's
even send
crazy.
them to school. Just fucking.
I don't know what to teach kids, man.
I don't know, man. Just
Well, some
Yeah.
teachers are dumb as shit. I guess that's the takeaway from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to say it.
Yeah. So Joey, as a fun
As a
kind
tranny
of
fucker.
kind of family friendly like vlogger, like what good can come of you getting involved in this conversation?
None, pretty much.
Oh,
No,
shit.
absolutely none.
Blaire, I do want to ask you because you have a video. You have some very strong opinions about the gender binary. What's your thoughts on that?
On the gender binary, that gender is binary. You know what I mean?
You think gender
Like,
is binary?
Yeah, I think that to try to separate gender from sex is like trying to separate like waves from the ocean. Like, yeah, they're technically two sort of distinct things, but they're very similar. Like, people are just male or female.
Well, so that's
Obviously
interesting.
there's intersex people, but that's not like a third gender. It's a birth deformity,
So we had a debate on this show about the gender binary because the Bill Nye video came out and he had that awful cringy
that was
song,
so
right?
fucking awful. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that was horrible.
So when we had this debate, I thought the audience would just say, sometimes I ask the audience what you believe before and after listening to the debate. And before listening to the debate, 82% of our audience said that they believed that gender was a binary. There was only 2 genders, right? After listening to the debate, it changed to 50-50. And it was because I read some cases, I think, from the National Geographic where they had kids where they started out as female. There was this kid in Cuba who started out as female, and up until the age of 11, when he got a burst of hormones, then he became male, and he didn't have a penis up until the age of 11. And his uncle said, yeah, the kid just started growing a penis, and then
Penis came out of him.
yeah, the penis grew.
Sprouted?
I guess.
Wow.
it sprouted.
It
just,
sprouted,
started
yeah.
coming. That's
The kid was
crazy.
androgynous.
It's
for the most of the
unusual.
time. It's unusual, but then there was multiple cases like this where they said, and then there were some cases where the girl, it was a boy who had female genitalia, but everything else about this kid was male.
An intersex person, right?
Is that what it's called, intersex?
Yeah, there's like a number of different birth deformities you can have related to gender, and those people are considered intersex. It's not a third gender, but for instance, you can be born with a penis and ovaries inside of you. So that's intersex.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, they love to go over to like some fucking rainforest and find a culture where gender means the opposite of what it means over here and say, oh, see, I told you gender is fluid. But it's like,
Right.
so what makes them right and us wrong? Why do we always look across the fucking pond at some kid in Cuba who's growing a penis and say, oh, see, evidence? It's like, why is that the fucking standard?
Well, I'll tell you why it's up for debate. Is because up until the late 90s, homosexuality was considered a psychological disorder by the DSM. And it wasn't until finally they changed the definition that people started they started looking at homosexuality. And in fact, I myself, I grew up in Utah, very conservative state, and a lot of my younger years, I was kind of homophobic. And in the very strictest sense of the word, I was afraid of homosexuals. I didn't know what it was. It was something that my parents scared me about all the time. They said, you'll get AIDS, this and that. And it wasn't until, I think I read a study that was on CNN where they tested gay men and gay and straight men with pheromones, male pheromones, that they couldn't determine any kind of scent or anything like that. And then they measured their heart rate and their, several different other factors. And they found that the gay men responded to male pheromones consistently across the board. And I thought, oh my God, that was like the last nail in the coffin.
Definitely biological.
It's absolutely biological.
Yeah.
But then you look at gay people, and they're less than 5-10% of the population. 12% of the population, something like that.
Yeah.
So that's not a majority. Do you then say, okay, well, it's so few, why does it matter to give them any distinction?
I didn't say not to give them a distinction, but I wouldn't hold up a gay person Or would I? I wouldn't hold them up and say, "Oh, see, I told you we're all gay," or "I told you that sexual preference is binary or non-binary." It's like, yeah, look, gayness has always existed throughout history.
Yeah.
What we choose to call it changes, but it doesn't actually change. It means something, whether it is technically some sort of abnormality or a literal disorder, or it's just some people are gay and some are straight. It's always been what it is. However, a boy growing a penis at age 11 or a girl growing a penis at age 11, that's not a characteristic of our species.
Yeah, when there's like hundreds of millions of gays.
Very rare.
Yeah, when there's hundreds of millions of gays and like 3 people that have a weird genital deformity. You know what I mean? Like, keep it in perspective.
So if just for some reason our evolutionary line started going towards this direction where there became more and more intersex people, would you then say, okay, well, we're no longer a gender binary? At what point would that be? Would it be millions of people? Would it be hundreds of thousands? At what point would you say, okay, it's no longer gender binary?
Well, binary is 2 and intersex still isn't even like a third gender, though. So like, even if that continued, I would still consider there to be 2 genders, and then like there's deformities you can have at birth. So it's different. I don't think a deformity is a gender.
I mean, but what if the deformity was, like 10% of the population? Was that then just a disorder, a deformity still?
Yeah.
I mean, you can call it a deformity, like we used to, like the scientists or whoever, the USDA, whatever the fuck they are, used to call homosexuality a disorder. Whether you call it a disorder or you don't, doesn't change what it is. It's something. It's a sexual preference.
Right.
Like, doesn't matter. Like, we act like Bill Nye acts like, oh, as soon as we change our fucking terminology, science changes.
Then everything changes.
Yeah, nothing fucking changed. It's just he made shitty rap songs in the 90s about fucking the color spectrum, and now he writes shitty rap songs about the gender spectrum. Nothing has changed. We have not evolved. We haven't fucking changed. It's just stupid people have gotten stupider, and Bill Nye has moved along with them.
That's a big aspect of all of this, is that people think that changing the terminology changes life, and it just doesn't.
Yeah, well, it's interesting times for sure, but now it's time for some quick news headlines. Listen to this. I don't know if you heard of this. A couple was sentenced in a scheme to counterfeit 5-hour energy drinks. Did you hear about this? No. This is bonkers. Wow. It's this is from LA Times. It says a federal judge sentenced a husband and wife to prison Tuesday for their part in a conspiracy to sell millions of counterfeit 5-hour energy shots, according to U.S. Attorney's Office. Now, I looked into the story, and the way they made these is kind of gross. First of all, they were supposedly making these for the Mexican market. It says prosecutors allege that the couple contracted with the drinks distributor to sell the products in Mexico, but then altered its Spanish language packaging and labeling to English and distributed it in the U.S. at well below the company's normal rated price. The relabeling scheme involved 350,000 bottles sold from 2009 to 2011.
Oh, wow.
But then grew to a larger effort when they worked with 9 other defendants in Michigan to Southern California to manufacture and sell several million counterfeit energy shots. The sham shots, mislabeled as 5-hour energy, were manufactured at an unsanitary facility by untrained workers mixing unregulated ingredients in vats. So that's the shit you guys were drinking, bozos. Yeah. How about that? Joey, you drink 5-hour energy?
Yeah, in college I drank a whole bunch, and they actually worked. It's all it's all those whack.
Well, I looked into 5-hour energy, and basically it's just like B12. It's vitamin B12 and what's that, ginseng or some bullshit?
Yeah, all the natural energy crap.
I definitely overdid it one night in college. I waited till the last night to study for a final, and I thought, fuck it, I'll just pound a bunch of 5-hour. I pounded 2 5-hours and took a caffeine shot. Damn. Drank all that, immediately passed out. But it was not sleep. I don't know what it was called. My eyes were shut, but I could feel my heart beating, and I could hear it.
Oh no!
Wow.
Yeah, my heart was beating really hard. I woke up loosely here. I got up. Probably like 6 hours later, my heart was still racing. My eyes were bloodshot. I didn't even go to my final. Wow. I felt like shit. Maybe it was one of these batches that were made in a vat. It's crazy.
That's crazy, though.
Yeah. Do you drink 5-hour energy?
No, I've actually never even drank coffee like that.
Really?
Like, I don't have caffeine in it. I don't drink soda, coffee, anything.
And she doesn't eat cheese. She like only eats plants. Like literally, she only eats like fruit and like vegetables.
No shit.
Yeah.
I'm not strict about it, but like I do eat like mostly plant-based stuff. That's just like the way.
But you don't like cherries. We have so in the snacks.
Or
No,
pineapples.
I thought these were grapes, and so I bit one. I was like, oh, it's a cherry, and I threw it away.
Yes, we have snacks in the studio today. I give my most respected guest my most exotic fruits.
Yeah, I'm really picky about food. It's super weird. Never
Well-
eaten a pancake either.
You've never had a pancake? What?
Never
Blaire.
eaten a pancake.
Or cheeseburger.
Never had a cheeseburger.
Jesus Christ.
Never had a cheeseburger?
Isn't that weird? Yeah, even when I was little and stuff. Don't eat fish. Never really ate fish.
What?
Wow. You're just,
Holy shit.
I'm really picky about food. It's getting better as I get older.
Interesting. Well, let me ask you this. Do you like feta cheese?
But no.
Okay. All right. Well, there goes that theory. I have some friends who are picky eaters. One of my friends who's a picky eater, swear to God, it's a disorder. And there was 60 Minutes did a story about it. And they found that there's a very specific type of disorder where you only eat like 5 or 6 different types of foods. He eats spaghetti with no...
Oh my gosh, that's me.
He eats spaghetti with no sauce. He eats plain white bread, chicken nuggets, chicken fingers, that sort of thing, and plain cheese pizza. But oddly, he likes really strongly flavored things like feta cheese and tapatio. And that's and it's pretty common for people who have this disorder. They'll eat very plain foods, but then very pungent cheeses for some reason. So that's why I asked you that.
That's so weird. That does
Yeah.
sound like me, though. I have like 6 or 7 things I stick to eating, and that's it.
Interesting. Well, here's another story. This is a follow-up to a story we covered a long time ago. So we had a follow-up to the Michelle Carter story, the suicide, the girl who coerced her boyfriend into
A
suicide.
cunt.
Oh my
Yeah,
God, that was
yeah.
the worst.
She got guilty.
Yeah.
And
Good.
in that same episode we did, that was 55 episodes ago, something like that, 53 episodes ago. We also talked about this story about a guy who crashed his Tesla and died. And they, at first, were saying that it was the Tesla's fault. Well, now a news story came up. Here's a follow-up to that. It says a Tesla self-driving car motorist ignored warnings. U.S. investigators said that a driver who was killed while using Tesla's partially self-driving crash ignored repeated warnings to put his hands on the steering wheel. Some people made an allegation that he was watching Harry Potter at the time of his horrible crash.
Oh, God.
And they said it's unequivocally false. But according to sensors in the car, it says here, the driver used the vehicle's self-driving system for 37.5 minutes of the 41-minute trip.
Wow.
So for 37 and a half minutes of 41, his hands weren't on the steering wheel. During the time the self-driving system was activated, he had his hands on the steering wheel for a total of only about half a minute, investigators concluded.
Holy shit. Go figure.
Indeed. The crash killed the 40-year-old Joshua Brown when his Tesla Model S crashed into a truck that crossed his path. Now, since then, Tesla makes some of the safest vehicles, I think, on the road. But they were saying that the radar of the car was tricked because the side of the truck was white and it couldn't distinguish it from the horizon, right, as it was turning.
Yeah.
That's actually, it turns out, not what happened. I mean, the car probably could have avoided it if that weren't the case. But guys, you got to keep your fucking hands on the steering wheel.
Yeah, that's insane.
Well, oh my God. But the whole point of having a self-driving car is so you don't really have to do that.
That's true, too.
Well,
so you can like watch Harry Potter. I mean, like
It's-
that's what you're paying for, right?
it's
like, so you don't have to do it.
It's self-driving to an extent. It's self-driving on the freeway where you go long stretches.
But
you
like
still
for
have
the
to pay
whole
attention.
trip, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
He only had his steering wheels on his hands on the steering wheel for 30 fucking seconds, bro.
I'm surprised a car could keep a person alive for 37 minutes without touching the steering wheel. That's
Same.
actually really
That's a good point. That's
crazy.
I don't
Kudos,
think I'm-
Tesla.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna trust them. I
No,
think like
I
it's
wouldn't
it's
either.
for the next generation. Like I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
I'm not gonna.
We're
fucking,
not there, bro. Like,
old
I
man.
could
Rockin'.
never.
Yeah, who's old man? You guys are the old man.
Yeah, man.
I'm the
with you,
youngest.
Rocco.
You're
I'm
the
with
youngest guy.
I'm the
here.
youngest guy here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm the youngest person
You're
here.
the most educated guy that never fucking graduated.
Yeah, that's right. I'm the
Congratulations.
foremost authority. Joey,
Foremost.
are you a graduate?
I have a degree in computer science.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Like Maddox would have if
Joey
he
wins.
if he didn't slam a bunch of 5-hour energies and go to sleep and miss his fucking final.
One final. Actually, Joey, that's true. I am one test away from graduating.
there it is.
Just do
Holy
it, man.
shit.
Just do it, bro. Just do it. That'd be
No
great.
way.
God.
No
Vlog
way.
it.
At this point, like I have made a determination in my life to never graduate because the more I accomplish without graduating, the more it says about the college system.
You're right.
Because I can still technically claim that I'm a dropout even though I finished the curriculum.
No, it's not technical. You can claim you're a dropout.
Okay, fine. Whoops.
Yeah.
That was very unintentionally appropriate.
Yeah.
All right, Blaire, before we go, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, sure. My YouTube is youtube.com/BlaireWhiteX. It's BLAIRE White X.
Blaire, thank you so much for being on the show. And Joey, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, Dudeson's vlog on YouTube, and just type in Dudesons or just type in Blaire. She's the best. Blaire White.
Oh, thank you very much. Joey, by the way, the videos are very well produced on the Deuce and Vlog channel. And Blaire, yours as well. You can totally go down the rabbit hole. Actually, the other night I did just that. We watched...
On my videos?
Yeah, a bunch of your videos. Because they keep playing one after another back to back. And they're very popular. You're getting a lot of heat right now. You're over 300,000 subscribers, so congratulations.
Thank you.
And we'll plug you. And check out everyone's channel, guys. Thank you again to Blaire. Thank you to Joey. Thank you to Rucka, my first hand-on staff moderator.
Right. Rest in peace / get better soon, Mikey.
Get better soon, Mikey.
Yeah.
But most of all, you're welcome.
I'd like to do a quick caller call-out to the guy from last week who said that the YouTube drama debate sucked and that Maddox phoned it in. That might be true. That's neither here nor there. What is a fact is that you screeching like a fucking heartbeat from one of those Real Housewives shows is the most dramatic bullshit I've heard in a long time. How about you check to see if your testicles are going to drop sometime soon?
Yeah.
Grab some scotch and fucking take out your anger like a real man.
Yeah.
By swearing at small children and lying to the elderly.
Yeah.
Fuck whales.
Yeah. Fuck whales. Awesome. He even plugged my book at the end. That's what I like. That's an ideal caller.
Yeah.
All right?
Right.
He's getting a free book.
No, free book.
Hey there. Don't forget to subscribe to Madcast shows on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. Okay, bye. Madcast Media Network.